This channel is sponsored by Truefire, and for the next few days they're running a buy one get one free promotion. So this means that if there was any particular course that you were looking at grabbing on Truefire, you can get one and get another free. I don't really need to explain to you what buy one get one free means, do I? Follow the links in the description, and yeah, Truefire, thanks for sponsoring the channel.
So here I've got a relatively budget guitar, and I've picked it up out of the case. Like, I'm presuming this has come straight from a factory. This is an artist guitar, and everything about it is pretty good, except when I first started playing it, I was like, this has got like a little bit of a... something feels a little bit off, like it's something maybe a bit gritty, something's not quite right. If I try and do this... in particular, those wound strings to me obviously this is semi-hollow, so that's why that's maybe... it just had a bit of a... I think that these are probably some nondescript factory strings. So the question is, if I whip these strings off, which hopefully won't take too long because it's got a locking set of tuners and stuff, can I meaningfully change the tone of this instrument? Or am I just thinking something in my head and then we'll see what happens, I guess. I'm going to put on some daddarios. Already, listen to this. Dead. Yeah, I think this is worth it. And you can also see how different, hopefully, the shine is. You can see there's also some corrosion if I look up close here. So this hopefully will be worthwhile. As if I needed any more confirmation that this was necessary, the E-string just kind of snapped. So, I think it's an all-important move. You know, if you're buying a budget guitar, just bear in mind this is one of the areas where you can make a cost saving if you're, you know, building bulk guitars. Just put on no-name strings, and you know, I think, frankly, I wonder whether these manufacturers are half expecting that you're going to change the strings anyway once they get to their destination. Having done this as an experiment, if there's ever a guitar where I'm feeling like there's something a little bit off about this might be the number one move. So once I had done this experiment, I sent daddario an email because I work with them on videos occasionally, and they've sponsored a few videos. So I kind of said, like, I've had this experience that's been sort of a little bit mind-blowing. You know, could I make a video on it, and does this make sense? And kind of, well, I'll read actually what they said. Every guitar ships with different strings. Some are private label ones the manufacturer get made, but often they are very cheap ones for budget guitars, meaning you can bring a cheap instrument to life very quickly with a different set of strings. Now, I did look for something to kind of illustrate this point, and I found that Digital Village has a brand of strings. I presume it's their own brand, music store, and these strings, they'll sell a set of 9 to 42s for £1.70, which is really, really, really cheap. And you know, you consider, like, is there going to be a difference in quality? You'd imagine so. And so that kind of confirmed what I had not really thought about too much until I got this guitar, and just felt like that feels a little bit dead, as I say. So it's not something I thought about a ton, but now that I have sort of opened up Pandora's box, so to speak, consensually, it does seem like a little bit of an area which definitely, if I was you, and if I was like buying a guitar not just to demo it or
not just demoing a guitar, but you know, playing it longer term. And certainly if it's a guitar where I felt like this has not been a great experience unboxing. Now I would also question, does this void a warranty? Because that might be another area where you think, actually, is that a bit dodgy? So I should probably ask someone that. Now, assuming that you bought a budget guitar, in some cases it might be because you're a student or, you know, a player who's not playing the guitar all the time or quite as often. It does make some sense in that case, I think, to put on a set of coated strings. If you're changing strings every week, you may not think that this is as important, but on a guitar which, for me, I put coated strings on my backup guitars because it's like a guitar that I sometimes get out of the case, sometimes put it back in, that you get a bit more durability out of these, and they will stay, fresher longer, and that's kind of the whole point of the coated string in general. So that, to me, I think makes sense as the cheapest, most instantly impactful ways to upgrade a budget guitar. And, you know, I think of the difference there between having those budget strings on and a decent set of Daddario XLs. Like, you know, I've heard differences between drive pedals and pickups that were nowhere near as distinct as that. Like, there's so much more top end, so much more brightness, so much more jangle to it, that it's kind of bonkers. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments, whether you love that new string feel or you hate it. But that, to me, is like the number one way that you could immediately upgrade your guitar. Like, it might be a guitar that you bought from a guitar shop, in which case you could maybe ask, in some cases, can you put on a set of new strings, or they might even offer. Or it's a guitar that you've just picked up out of the case and you're thinking, now how long have those strings been on there? What were the strings in the first place? Like, if the brands aren't specifically telling you, like it's Daddarios or whatever, then it's probably a more budget brand, you'd imagine, right? In which case, sticking on a set of known decent strings, to me, seems like a little bit of a no-brainer at this point, having tried it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments.